Of course, this is Membership Monday, and so glad that we had such a good turnout here. Well, we've got a very, very interesting program for you today, something completely innovative, completely new. And if you decide to execute it, you don't have to do it alone. So not gonna steal any thunder. I'm just whetting the appetite a little bit. The Membership Mondays, I guess this is our fourth one, I think is right. And then we got another one in February. It'll be on February the 8th. If you'd like to go ahead and put that on your calendar, February 8th, we're going to talk about, okay, so you got some new members, what are you going to do with them? And we'll cover some of the details around orientation, sponsoring, and the resources that are available to you. So we're putting that together for you. So go ahead and put that on your calendars. I want to make sure everybody gets that on. I want to, first of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for being here. I know you've got a busy schedule, and so we're going to jump right in here and get this going because I like to wrap things up by around 5 o'clock. Keep these brief, but very informative. I wanted to, at this point in time, turn this meeting over to District Membership Chair Phil Breed, who is doing an excellent job in the face of a pandemic. He is unlike any district membership chair in 7670 ever before. And thank you.
Wow. He's telling me I'm worth everything he's paying me, and you know how much that is.
Right, that's right. Thank you, Phil.
I have met some of the nicest and best people in the world through Rotary. One of them is going to be our lead speaker today. And a year ago this time, I didn't know him. I don't know if I'd even heard of him. But Patrick Lingano heads up the new one-of-a-kind, in my mind, satellite club that the Lenore Club has going. And to save wasting any of his time, I'm going to turn it right over to Patrick. Patrick, take it away. Are you there?
I am here. I am here. Philip, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate the invite to talk today. There are two things that Karen, who told me to do to make sure that I do, is slow down, which is something I've heard a bunch, and to not say, you know, a bunch. So if you catch me saying, you know, or going too fast, just tug on your ear, and that'll remind me. I certainly appreciate you guys coming today. But before I go any further and tell you about the Impact Club, whether you've heard about it or not, I want to thank several people. Let's see, about a little over 2 years ago, there's a gentleman who was the president of our club. His name is Paul Brandenburg. And Paul was making it to the end of his Rotary year, and a lot of change and a lot of things going on. And I walked up to Paul and said, I've got this idea. And I don't know what kind of look it was, but to Paul's credit, Paul said, I think that's great. Let me tell you who you should talk to. And and if anybody knows, Helen Hall was our president-elect, and she was going to take over from Paul. And we had Ethan already going to take over as president-elect. And Paul set up a lunch with those two at what they're now calling my office right down the street, Italy Grill. So if you're ever in town, you can find me at my office at the Italy Grill. And we sat down and had a conversation together. And it goes against kind of some of the things that we do here in Rotary, because every year we have this kind of turnover and some new focuses and some new directions and different pink pages and all these other wonderful things. And we sat down, Helen, Ethan, and I, and said, hey, this is going to be at least a 2-year program. And they let me pitch them. And to their credit, they said, okay, we'll join you on this crazy journey. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. And also Tiffany Irvin was the district governor during Helen's year. And we all know Tiffany. And Tiffany's up for any crazy idea. And she is a champion of the underdogs causes. You know, kind of like to say she's the leader of the misfit toys on the island. So she was fantastic in helping us drive it through. I got the pleasure to meet Philip Reed when he became district membership chair, and I have yet to find his equal for somebody that absolutely wants to help you. That's all he wants to do. Every conversation that he has with me is, what can I do to help? What numbers can I give you? Because he found out that for me, numbers drive me. And I'll explain in a second why that is. And then our very famous, very nice guy who's always in a DG pose like he is right now, DG David Wachner. He was from our club, and we're very proud that he's our district governor. And he promised to help move this club forward, this club model forward, and he's done just that. And I want to thank him. So that being said, I want to get into today, just telling you a little bit of the history of the club, and I've told you where it came from with the inception. But what I wanted to tell you was what we're going to be doing today is having more of a discussion, because I can't stand meetings just like this, where somebody gets on and just talks to you and tells you what they think is going to be good for you. We have battled every kind of, stereotype, every kind of fight that you can imagine with Rotary, within our own club, within the district for the last 2.5 years. And we just want to have a discussion with you and let you guys know at your clubs some of the things that we've battled, so you'll know those things going in, and hopefully it'll make it a lot smoother for you. What I want to tell you right now is where we are right now. We started it the last week in Helen Hall's year, President Helen Hall's year. We founded the club with Helen and Tiffany, with our original 8 founders of the club. We chartered the satellite club. It's called Impact by Lenore, or by Rotary Club of Lenore, and I'll explain why that's important later. Where are we now? Well, we have an induction palooza tomorrow, which is a lot of fun, and we have multiple Zoom meetings set up, and it's a wild party. A couple weeks back, we had one where we had 4 times, 10, 2, 4, and 6, and it was just the greatest day I've had in Rotary. And the last one, we only had 1 induction, but everybody surrounding the person that was in the induction turned out to either have worked with her, was working with her now, or she's affected a change on their life. And that's what that induction became about. And I will never forget that induction for as long as I live. It was fantastic. But we will be at 52 members after tomorrow. That'll be a growth of 44 members for the year. We will be larger than our legacy club. Our legacy club has 43 active members and 5 R85, so 48 according to DAC-DB. Tomorrow we'll surpass that with 52 active members. So in 6 months, we've more than doubled the size of our club. So I'm asking you, before we get started, if I can show you a way and help you with a way to double the size of your club in the next Rotary year, would that be something you'd be interested in?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Woo! We're going to have to get loud, guys. I love it. Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to tell you in those numbers too, is when we're trying to set it up, there's going to be some interesting numbers here for you. First interesting number, of our first 52 members, 51% are female. 51% are female. That mirrors our demographics here in the county. Let's see, number 2, she's going to go ahead and get that set up right there. 52% or 51% are female. And then our age, bear with me real quick. Yep, our age 40 and older, 66%. Under 40 is 33.96, so right at 34%. I wanted to put our average age up there because our average age is 46. And I believe that is about 18 years younger than our average age in our Rotary or Legacy Club right now. That's some numbers there. When we first got started with this, was we were figuring how can we get members? Who's the people that we need to concentrate on? And there were 3. The first was family members of current Rotarians. The second was former Rotarians. And then the third was new Rotarians. And since that time, we've added 2 new categories. Karen, could you put that one up? Do you have that one? Yep, there we go. Of our impact members that we have in the first 6 months, families of Rotarians, 9, that makes up 17% of the people that we got into the impact club. Former Rotarians, and this is the part that I have not done a very good job on. We've got 4 former Rotarians. People don't leave Rotary. They just don't. If they've been a Rotarian, they're a Rotarian, in my opinion. And it's just circumstances that change it. And I need to probably do a better job on that. But we've managed to get 4 former Rotarians back in. Now, and then new Rotarians are 37, which is 71%. But we added 2 different categories, and you'll see that as the third one down, saved legacy member. We all know about leakage. We all know about 18%. I could spout out numerous different figures that Rotary International shoots out to you, but we all know it. People leave Rotary. And the majority of the reason why they leave is because they have something happen in their life that has changed that doesn't allow them to come to the meetings. I'm not going to name names, but those 2 legacy members that we saved is a former president of our club. And the other one that we saved was in our club for over 25 years. Their situations changed during this pandemic, and we've given them an opportunity to serve at their leisure on impact. So for all those people that are looking at DAC-DB and seeing whether they're net positive or net negative, this is another tool that you guys can use to help save the people that are leaving your club. Okay, so that's on the history. Now, why did I focus on service? I focused on service because I wanted the biggest piece of the pie. Now, I'm going to tell you guys my job and what I do. I'm a car dealer. I sell automobiles. So I'm glad you're on mute, so I can't hear the booing. So I appreciate that. But one of the things people ask me all the time is, why do you carry the cars that you carry? And the reason and the answer that I always give them is because I look at my demographics and I want the biggest piece of the pie. If I buy a $50,000, $100,000 Lamborghini, whatever, how many people in my community can actually afford that? I would rather buy X amount of Elantras that 90% of the people can afford. So I use that same philosophy when I was developing Impact. Was what's the one thing that unites every one of us? Every single one of us, why we got into Rotary. It's right there in our motto. It's service above self. And it's all about service. Now, we have some wonderful ideas out there about innovative club models that work in some situations and don't work in other situations. But I'm going to tell you one that works in almost entirely every situation is people's heart to serve. And if you ask somebody if they believe that they owe it to their community to serve their community, 99 out of 100 are going to say yes. So that's the biggest piece of pie, and that's what you can go after to get these people interested in serving. So what we're going to discuss today is it's going to be a little bit more of a discussion. I want to introduce 3 other people that are on the call with you and tell you just a little bit about them. And we're going to have a discussion, and then we'll open it up to discussion with everybody else in the group. Because I think talking about it instead of telling you about it is the better way to go. First, I want to go to Ethan Gilley. Hey, Ethan. There he is. Ethan's the club president of the Rotary Club of Lenore, doing a fantastic job, and he is spearheading this effort in the Legacy Club. And I couldn't do it without Ethan. He's been, him and I basically came up with this together. It's been wonderful. And Stephen Starnes, where's he at? Stephen, there he is. There's Stephen. There's my buddy. Stephen has been a past president at another club, and he is our president-elect nominee for our Legacy Club in Lenore. So everybody give Stephen a round of applause for taking that on. I love it. Now, Stephen's a Legacy member right now, obviously, and he was there the first meeting that we pitched it a little over 2 years ago. And I'm not sure if it was the first or second board meeting that I almost got kicked out of them, but Stephen saved me. Stephen and Ethan saved me, and I was able to stay in the meeting. So happy about that. And then you'll see on your screen, it says Impact Lenore Karen. Hey, Karen. Guys, if you want to know who the brains of the operation is, that's it right there. Karen Gibson is absolutely the brains of the operation. She has figured out how to do this, and she makes me look good. And she is the smartest person I know. But I wanted to introduce those guys, and I wanted to have a discussion with them. And Ethan, I wanted to start with you and ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind. You good?
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
Ethan, since you were you were the president, you're the president now, but you were the president-elect when we first initially got started moving this. What did you see as what's been the biggest challenges for Impact?
I would say the biggest challenges for starting Impact and why it took us so long. It took us literally about 2 years to launch this because we had some pushback, and I think it was it deviated away from the traditional meet and eat legacy meetings, the attendance, and so we didn't get 100% support right off the bat. But I knew and saw what Rotary International was doing, and that's really what guided my push towards that. Because back when Mark Maloney was Rotary International president, we were talking about innovative club models, laxing attendance, and the dire need to grow our membership, being stuck at 1.2 million members for years. So that's exactly what we did, but we still had pushback from the traditional legacy members. And to give you a prime example, and nothing negative to her, we actually had a longtime legacy member, past president, say, I understand Rotary International has laxed the attendance requirements, but can we not write it in our bylaws that attendance is required at our club? And, Helen Hall and I at the time said, we don't recommend that. That's not what we recommend doing. So just things like that. We had some pushback and challenges of, what do you mean they're not going to come meet and eat and have to be there on Fridays? I don't understand that. And I think that was one of our main pushbacks and challenges for actually just getting the club model launched in the first place.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. We've had a lot of challenges, especially when I told everybody that there wasn't going to be a meeting requirement. I mean, you've seen that video where the head explodes. I think that was pretty much what the original consensus was. But then Rotary International came back down and said that attendance, they were relaxing the attendance rules. And then we wound up with because it's a service-based club. Now we meet at our service projects, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the other thing was they said, well, you're going to make mandatory that they have so many service hours. And I said, no, we're not. And they heads explode again. And the reason being is that if they're a Rotarian and they're signing up to do service, they're going to do service. And if they don't, they're going to wind up adiosing themselves, out. But in the first 6 months that we've done it, we have done programs for the United Way, our school system, communities and schools, teachers, treasurers, just the Chamber of Commerce. We have fully staffed every single request that we've had, and we've completed every task. And I bet you can guess how many times I had to ask twice for volunteers. 0. I've never had to ask twice for volunteers. We send out the places that need help. I got one today from United Way. They go on the app, tell us what they need. It comes to me. I send it out, and people either accept or decline it. That's it. And people will respond if you put it in front of them and you don't pressure them. So those are two great things. Ethan, that was a great answer, and I appreciate that. But Stephen, I want to bring you in on here too, because you were representing a legacy member as a board member back when we first did that. Let me ask you a question. What did you see as the big challenge behind that?
Could you repeat that question?
Yes. What did you see as the biggest challenge from Rotary? And then I'm going to follow it up with another question for you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Patrick, for letting me be here. Thank you all for joining. Listen, what I saw as the challenge, essentially, I actually am an old historian. I did my undergraduate work in history. I did my graduate work in history. I love history. Rotary has an incredible history. So what I did when I heard this was basically, I wanted to look back and see what fueled the phenomenal growth that Rotary experienced back in the 20s, back in the teens, back in the aughts, when Rotary went from 1 club to 5 clubs in the West Coast. I mean, it just jumped half a continent, from Chicago to San Francisco, and then 4 other cities in the West Coast. It was phenomenal growth. And what I saw and what I heard from Patrick was basically lining up with that incredible history of innovation that happened in the aughts and the teens and the 20s that took Rotary from 1 club to over 200 clubs in less than 20 years. But what this is doing is basically bringing something to the fore that is so important, and that's service. What's the object of Rotary? Think about it. What is the object of Rotary? Is to encourage service. So at the very core of what we're doing here with this new model is we're essentially tying in to what has fueled the history, the growth, the passion of Rotary. Now, like I said, I'm a historian, and I love history, and I even love tradition. But I've always believed that if you worship your traditions, and you run the risk of turning traditions into relics. And you know what a relic is? Basically, it's just something that sits in a museum that you have to keep from decaying. So what we're doing here, and what Patrick and Ethan and the club are doing, is they're essentially providing an opportunity for us to do what the early Rotary clubs did. They're helping us to capture the talent that's out there. Do you know one of the first things that the early Rotary clubs ran into as an obstacle? They actually had to pass rules that said you could have more than 1 Rotary club in a city. San Francisco had to say, okay, we're a huge city here. We can't just have 1 Rotary club. That was controversial. But what they did was they said, look, there's a need here. And how are we going to get around this? Look, all of the things that we consider as traditions began as a good idea. Things like perfect attendance, that's a great idea. And I love the idea of perfect attendance. I remember the first time that I really noticed it. And by the way, I had perfect attendance for 11 years in the Lincoln Club, and I've had perfect attendance in this club since I returned to it. And I love perfect attendance, but it was originally conceived to help build fellowship and help provide avenues for service. So what we do with this is we continue, and I'm sorry for talking so much, Patrick, but what we do here with this club is we essentially, with this new impact, is we tap into a talent pool that wasn't available to us before, because we had a huge number of people with incredible talent, incredible skills, incredible intelligence who simply couldn't meet with us at 12:30 on Fridays. And I remember when I first was involved in Rotary in this club back in the 90s, my first time I ever got a perfect attendance pin, one of the people also receiving a pin was a local attorney who was getting like his 6th or 7th perfect attendance pin. And they made the joke that we almost went to the Caldwell Club that meets in the morning to give it to him, because most of his attendance were makeups at that club. He valued attendance, but he couldn't go to the meetings at 12:30 on Friday because he's an attorney. So what we're doing is we're creating an opportunity for an incredible pool of talent to participate with us and become part of the world's best service organization, giving them a framework to do this. So we're capturing this talent that's available to us. I gave Patrick a book for Christmas that's basically one of my favorite books. It says bet on talent. You always bet on talent. Systems might work. Systems may sustain itself. Organizations may do that, but talent is always the key. And you've got to always be infusing new talent. Patrick, did I answer your question at all?
Yes, you did. I appreciate that, Stephen. I really do. I do want to jump straight in because we only have about 19 minutes left. I do want to jump straight in, and I want to ask Karen, because here's the thing. These great ideas come down from Rotary International. Focus has changed, innovative club models, this, that, the whole 9 yards, and they come down and they go, here's a flyer on it. Go out and do it. And then they don't tell you how to do it. As evidence, it took us 2.5 years to fight our way through this. But I'm going to ask Karen one challenge, because Karen's the one who helped put this thing together, paperwork-wise, with Rotary International, the whole 9 yards. Karen, what was the biggest challenge from your perspective?
I think the two biggest challenges, one would be getting accurate information on how to set up a satellite club and all the things that are needed, and how you get members from a satellite club into Rotary International. And it's just because I don't think people have a lot of practice doing it, to be entirely honest. So it's not that they didn't want to be helpful and they didn't want to give good information. It's just they had to ask somebody else. And then the second thing is just meeting the technology needs of a wide variety of individuals in a year when a lot of people are burnt out on things that they may not have used before. So you have the under 40 crowd, which has a lot of experience with the free things available on the internet, like Google products and things like that. And then other people, typically the farther away they've gotten from their careers, the less of that they've had to deal with, because why would you use Google Sheets if you've retired? So it's trying to meet the needs of everybody in an efficient way, especially considering I'm just one person. And so you couldn't have, and Ethan's just one person. So if he has to collect all this information about service hours, and you're trying to double, triple the size of a club, that's going to get chaotic really fast unless you have a very consistent way of reporting that information. So I would say that the two things is getting people, getting the information on something that people weren't having a lot of practice with, and then just meeting a wide variety of data needs and experience levels.
Yeah, Karen, I'm going to follow up with you on that real quick. Can you pull up and show, guys, when we first started this, we're developing an app. It's almost complete. But what we've had to do, we started with something that we could save to the phone. And Karen said this best. Karen said, it's how do you get the most people that to be able to use this? I mean, I remember last year we were calling Helen Hall going, Helen, I did 2 hours over at such and such. And Helen would type it up, and, and then how many hours that we have? Well, guys, I'm just going to tell you this, just by making it efficient and continuing to find ways to make it more efficient, we have gone from tracking or doing 570 something hours last year to tracking over 3,000 service hours this year alone. I mean, that is just crazy. Okay. So we originally started with a Google Doc that I had people driving over here to the lot, so me or Karen could go out and show them on their phone. Now, Karen, let me see the front page of that real quick before you sign in. So I had to end it. So I had to make it even easier. And notice how I said I didn't make it easier. I said, Karen, figure out how to make this easier, because everybody, or the biggest percentage of everybody in your club, has been to a website. So we went ahead and put this behind on our website. So this is the website. If you notice up in the top corner, left-hand corner, that's our logo. It's an I in the thing for I Make an Impact, and I'll show you that in a minute. But if you click on the little ninja there, if you see it, we call ourselves the Rotary Ninjas because it was our first service project, and one of our guys got busted on a Ring doorbell putting a sign in somebody's yard that said a terrific Rotarian went here. So we all teased him about not being ninja-like, and that grew. So that's our thing. So right now you can get on and log your service hours right here, and it is behind security, so you have to actually sign in. So this is what you do. You just click on that. You click on Impact of Lenore. This form will come up, and you just do your drop-down menus, and you do your you pick who you are, do your drop-down menus, who you did the which organization you did the service work for, what day, how many hours, and you choose your area of service, which is we have there, and which, by the way, we have touched on all 7 areas of focus for Rotary, and then you click submit, and that's all you do. That's it. So by making it easier for people to log their hours, we're actually able to catch hours. There's no way on the planet that we did 570 something hours last year. If I had to guess, it was closer to 1,000. But people were like, oh God, I forgot I did that 3 weeks ago, or I forgot I did this. So we're just making it an easy way. Now, Karen also can click on there where she can click the view service hours results, and we've got this wonderful bar graph, and I'll call your attention to the top person on there. Colonel Brandenburg's on the call, and that is my lady right there, Patty Brandenburg, one of our family members who joined her husband, Paul, in the club. And she came up and sat down with me and told me she didn't know if she had enough time because she was already doing stuff with Paul. And I said, that's right. You're already doing it. You're already a Rotarian. You know, you just don't have the shirt or the pin. Let's sit you down. And look, she's killing everybody in service hours. She makes masks for everybody, impact masks and Rotary masks, keep everybody safe. She's just fantastic. Karen's got a lot of data that we can get out of here, which has been fantastic. So we've made that better for your legacy members who might be technology not as savvy. If they've been to a website, they can log their hours. It's that easy. Also another thing that we put on there is a service selfie. We did that because we were having a problem with public engagement. Who took a picture? We were out doing the thing for the United Way. Who took a picture? Make sure you send it over to so-and-so. So what you do right now is you get on your phone, you log on, take a picture, and it automatically uploads it to your public image person, and all they have to do is one click and post it on your social media. So we've made that a little bit easier as well. These are all things that people who are wanting to serve, do. Karen's got, different places where they can join our network. We'll get information from them. It's also a new way for people. Karen's working on it. It won't be on this right now because it's in the background. But one of the other things is one time a year, David, isn't this right? We work on membership, and besides this, with the Membership Monday in our clubs, we focus on it. We might give a brick, we might do this, we might do that, just to try to stem the tide. And it's never, how do you work prospects? How do you keep track of your potential members? There's a way to do it in DAC-DB, but I've heard just most of my members won't even get on it. It's a great program, but most of my members won't even get on it in our legacy club because they find it too confusing. So if they have somebody that they're working, this form will be a little bit bigger, but when they go to the website and sign in, they'll be able to put their potential member, and then we can follow up with them. Okay. Karen, I appreciate you showing that. But I'm going to ask you one other question. You weren't a Rotary member when you started working for me, were you?
No.
You weren't. And, you know, did you have any observations from like somebody from the outside?
Mostly, I kind of mostly hit that with the comment about getting, you know, learning information about how to set up a satellite club. I think mostly just there aren't a lot of people. It didn't seem like there were a lot of people that had the experience of setting up a satellite club, or with maybe onboarding a whole lot of people all at once. And so that's probably a good problem to solve, because then that, you know, if you start more people that you start having to onboard and more people get used to that, then, you know, so it was not a bad problem for the Lenore Club to have, just to have to like find out some of this stuff, because that meant more people were joining.
Karen, I think I set you up with that question because you weren't a Rotarian, but what happened last week?
Oh, I got inducted last week.
Hey, everybody, there's our newest Rotarian. Hey,
That's my certificate.
that was awesome. And you wouldn't believe it. I mean, people came from our club knocking on Karen's door going, you're going to become a Rotarian? And Karen just stayed up. And she joined when she thought the time was right. And she saw the benefit of it. And it's one of the proudest days that I've had because I didn't push her. And it was a great day. Ethan, why do you think people don't do satellites as much? Knowing now what you know now versus back then?
I would say, and Paul could probably contest to this, it's that they make it, I guess, more complex than it really is. They don't know how. They don't know what they can do, what they can't do. Is it in the bylaws? Is this okay with Rotary International? They really don't know. So I think the challenges of that are just you know, trying to figure out how to do it, what they can do. You know, I know that was one thing we really had to research when launching Impact was, is it okay to not have regular meetings scheduled for this club model? You know, is it okay to not have a required service hours? You know, and so this is something I don't think people, you know, knew that, you know, we had to go back and search in the bylaws, ask. Paul did a lot of research. Tiffany helped us with a lot of it, you know, and all the way up through the zone of Rotary International to where we could figure out what we could do. And then we even found some more issues where people may have had a satellite club but didn't really log it correctly. It wasn't showing up at Rotary International as a satellite club. So I just think it's the not know how. They don't really know how to get started and what they can and can't do, basically.
All right, I'm going to stay with you real quick. I'm going to ask you a question, because we've been at this 6 months, and you know for a fact that you got a little bit of pushback as evidence of the 2 years that we had to push the board and push the board and push the board to get this initiative done. In the first 6 months that we've done this and we've grown at this rapid pace, what do you see, Ethan, right now as is there any divide between legacy and impact now, or is it more of a meshed process? Tell me what you see right now.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I will I guess paraphrase a little bit of Stephen Starnes in part of this answer. But we did go to some of our top legacy members that are very influential in our club: Sonny Hines, John Davis, Paul Brandenburg, Helen Hall, past presidents that served at district level. Sonny's brought more members into our club than any other member in our club. He's brought 35 members plus, yeah, into our club over the years. And we said, what do you think about this? And they're true, in my opinion, they're true leaders and professionals, and they understand the value of change in order and evolution in order to grow. If we don't evolve, we'll die on the vine. And that's what we were worried about. But we didn't bring this club model into Legacy, Rotary Club of Lenore Legacy Club to replace it. We didn't bring it in to be inferior, you know, to make them feel inferior to this club model. We're operating in the middle of a pandemic, which we didn't know we were going into when we even launched this model. So this has really saved us this year, and it was something we had before we even knew what COVID was and what was going on. But I love what Stephen said. It doesn't, you're not an impact member or a legacy member. There doesn't need to be this major segregation. You know, you could be an impact member because you're basically a legacy member. You just can't make it to the Friday meetings. It's not one or the other. It's a service arm. It's an opportunity for people, like Stephen says, like Patrick says, they're already Rotarians. They just can't make the meetings. They can't commit to the meetings, but they are true Rotarians. They have service at heart. They do service. They're community professionals and leaders. And that's why they joined our club. And then also, we're not meeting and eating right now anyway. So everybody's acting as an impact member. So we're getting out, we're doing service. We're networking, we're getting the social aspect of it, the membership side of it, you know, as a membership organization through service projects, and we're not meeting and eating. So we're trying to explain that to Legacy, that it's okay. It's not a, you know, and we're getting overall, I think we're not getting any pushback, not as much as we did in the beginning. But you know, we still have some people that don't quite understand the full model of it. And with attendance and different things like that.
Well, one of the things, just to make sure on that, Ethan, just want to make sure that you understand, is that this is not a satellite club to break away to be its own club. We wanted a service arm for our legacy club. We wanted to grow membership in this way. This will never be its own club, and that's not the reason why it was set up. It's set up to enhance. It's set up to work with the legacy club. At each one of our service projects, you'll see about 50% legacy, 50% impact. That's what you'll see. On our steering committee that we're just getting started, there'll be 4 legacy members on our steering committee and 4 impact members. So it looks like we're running out of time here. I see David raised his hand and Philip did. Philip.
Just wanted to say, please let them know that they don't have to reinvent what you've done. That you, Patrick even has a how-to booklet, 20 some odd pages long, right?
No, actually it's 37 and it's a living document. Karen's going to show it real quick. We've already got it there. So here's the deal, because I know they told me I had about 45 minutes to speak. So we didn't even get through about half of it, but I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you before, and then it's going to lead me to say something to you guys. If I could show you a way to do this, to double your club size in one Rotary year, if it's something that you're interested in, I will take the first 5 clubs that give me a commitment that say that they want to do this. They want a service arm in their community. Okay. We're making changes in our community. Every nonprofit is looking at our Rotary Club right now in our community for help. They're going to look at us for volunteers. It's going to raise our visibility again, which will help us attract more members and more members and more members. Okay. So I'm going to make this thing for you. We will help the first 5 clubs that want to do this. We will walk them through it. We will help them with the 1997 application to start a satellite club. 1997. I finally got through to somebody up at Rotary International. I said, none of these questions pertain to the satellite club that I'm doing. They said, just cross it out and write it. So we went ahead and did our own application, and we're ready to walk you through it. We've got the contacts up there right now. They understand what this model is, and we can help each club walk through to inception, help you get your first 8 members, and then we will personally help on board, which is the toughest thing in the world. Karen's the door's closed up here, so she hasn't thrown the chair at me yet. We're going to personally help you onboard your people and start your own service arm of your thing. So if you're the Boone Club, it will be Impact by Rotary Club of Boone. Or if it's the Asheville Club, it would be Impact by the Rotary Club of Asheville. That's the way that you do it, because it'll soon be Impact by Rotary International. Ethan Gilly put out something on his, I guess, David Walker. I've never been president. David Walker asked him, you know, what are you going to do on your goals? And he said, I'm going to double the size of my membership. And I think they called him and I'm not mistaken, they're like, did you, what are you doing? And so Ethan said, I got this. Well, after we've done this drive for the first 50, which are all our emissaries for impact, I told Ethan, you know what the great part about this is? And he said, what? And I said, the second 50 is easy. It is. We had our first induction palooza 2 weeks ago. Ethan, how many emails did your mom and dad get?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we've got people calling in now wanting to join.
They're coming after us. We're not going out and going, hi, I know you're really busy. And, they're not. They're coming to us now. And that's the way that you got to do it. You can get out there, get visible, get people excited, and we can do this. So, Philip, I don't know if we have any more time, but if anybody's got any questions, I'll be more than happy to talk with them.
If you can stay, I'm sure some people are willing to stay, Patrick.
I'm golden. I mean, I want to make sure that these people these Rotary clubs around, it's not just about doing that for our community, but if I can help your community do more service, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're supposed to do as Rotarians. So, does anybody here have any questions?
About the structure.
One was about the dues they pay.
Great. I'm going to address that, dues. And I'm going to first start off by saying huge roadblock with our legacy members. Huge roadblock. But you got to know how to sell. And this is the easiest thing in the world. Our dues right now are $15 a month. Okay. Two things here. Okay. I believe close to 70% of our people are on auto pay. Okay. If they're not on auto pay, it's because their business pays for it. Okay. Our dues are $15 a month or $25 a month, including sustaining membership. And you should have seen the Legacy Club people going, oh my gosh, we pay this. Okay, great. That's fantastic. You choose to go in-person meetings, and and these people do service. And when I finally said, these are the people out doing the work and, going out into the community doing stuff, it's a different type of atmosphere. They understood it. They didn't have a problem with it. But I know that's a concern from everybody.
Patrick,
Peter?
I have a question. Peter
Yep.
Mamola here.
Yep.
Our club in Brevard is rather small.
Yes, sir.
14 members,
Mhm.
even fewer than that in terms of truly active members. But we really function as a service club. We're more aligned with what you would identify as an impact service club.
Okay.
We really get involved in some significant number of service hours, and I'm not sure. Are you implying that you really need to have a satellite club to do this, or how? If we wanted to do the things that have helped promote your membership growth, can we do that just from I hate to say we have a legacy club because the legacy members are so few in the club.
Yeah.
Is this something that you could help us with in terms of membership growth using the same process you have now?
Peter, I think that's a great question. I think I would take that on a one-by-one basis because each club is different. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's all in how you sell it. You have to let it float out there and people will attach to it. Okay. So I loved what you said. We're primarily just a service club anyway. I like that. To attract more members, it's all in how you sell it. And part of the book that we have and the stuff is how to get that information out. We're doing a Facebook ad right now that's being worked on, and it's just showing volunteerism. We've been through the economic crisis. We've been through 9/11. We've been through COVID. We've done this, and you have been there. We've seen you doing this service work. You need to join us, and let's do it together. Let's do service together, which is one of the reasons why this app is so important. David Walkner up there as district governor can get on this app, create a thing, and decide if it's going to be district-wide, area-wide, county-wide, city-wide, and then it'll go all out. David could say, oh my gosh, one of our cities by Lake Lore, they had a flood. we're looking for volunteers at such and such. And it's a mobilization tool that we can do. But Peter, I would absolutely have no problem with a club your size, you know, and us helping to do that. I would like to see the impact model do it this way, but with a club that's your size, I really don't have a problem. Do we have somebody from Black Mountain on here? Hi, Susan. I'm going to ask Susan a question, and you'll see why, Peter. Susan,
Okay, what's that?
Your club was about the same size as our Lenore Legacy Club that we had. How long have you been in the club, Susan?
5 years.
You've been in 5 years. Okay,
Right.
do you remember what your membership was like about 5 years ago, about how many people were in the club?
It was in the 80s. It was in the 80s 5 years
In the
ago.
80s. And right now we've had so much leakage, not to your club, but all over,
Yes.
all over. And I would guarantee if I asked you why, it would be because people just couldn't conform with the exact things that you guys had done. Time of meeting, you 75% of this or 60% of that or anything like that. You could throw that all the window. You go get those people back by telling them, look, the better part of where you served as a Rotarian is because you believed in Rotary. And I'm going to show you how you can serve Rotary without disturbing your life and doing it at your leisure. When I first pitched this to my wife, David will tell you this, I pace. Karen tells me stop walking when I'm trying to talk to her. But I pace and I'm pitching it to my wife and I said, and I'm rambling it, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, because I always work on my pitch. And I said, it's service your way. And she goes, oh, so Impact is basically the Burger King of Rotary. And I went, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But it is service your way. I keep telling my people, come when you can. Don't when you don't.
Right.
And you know what? They show up. They show up in droves. And right now, we're not chasing anybody. I'm having to tamper it down. I've gotten 2 or 3 Facebook messages from people who want to join in the past 24 hours. We're not chasing people. They're coming to us because they want to serve. So you can go after, Susan, you can go after those people that have left because of those reasons and get them back in at a much reduced rate, and they can help you further your agenda in Black Mountain. Wouldn't it be lovely if your spotlight on that Black Mountain Rotary Club, which I absolutely love, by the way, I love Black Mountain, that spotlight would shine brighter there as you get more and more membership? What happens? It gets contagious. More and more people will see it. More people do. The train's been heading down the track the wrong way for far too long. 18% leakage a year. It's been going down the train. We need to stop it because the way to overcome it is not to go, gosh, I've lost 3, so I need to get 3 so my pink pages look good. I don't want to hear that anymore. You guys all have the ability to turn it around at the club and do it with little or no work. All that I'm telling you, I'm going to give away a surprise here. It's been a job on Karen because I come in and I say, I want you to do this. And then she does it. She gets about 75% of the way. And I go, whoa, brakes. Do it this way. And then I have to run out the door. Ethan, Stephen will tell you the same thing. Guys, the hardest part was getting it off the ground. The rest is easy.
Sure.
They want to join you. So, but Susan, thank you for sharing that information for me. Peter, I appreciate that question. Rachel, I think you had a question. Did you have a question?
Yeah. Can we see that handbook you showed us the table of contents of?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a living document right now because it's changing as we go. As a matter of fact, one of the things that the onboarding and reporting to Rotary International has changed. And hey, if anybody on this Zoom meeting right now doesn't know Billy Black, she's like the greatest person on the planet. When you don't know, you call 2 people you call Paul Brandenburg and you call Billy Black,
Mhm.
and they will find out for you. And that's just the honest truth. So Billy will tell you that things change all the time. Oh, you need to send this stuff to data.rotary.org, and then finally we've gotten some more information from her at a different way that we can do it. So it is a living document. So what we will do is not only make it available to you if you do decide to start your own impact model, but you will have access to it to where you can go in and you'll be able to see the changes that are made as things progress. This is not Lenore Rotary going to do this in this district. This is every single one of us has the opportunity. David, how many times has District 7670 led in membership in our zone or in both zones that we really do? It's 32 and 33 or whatever, 33, 34. How many times have we led in membership 7670? Can you remember the last time? I couldn't hear you.
Last time.
I couldn't hear.
Maybe Isaac's year was the last time.
Okay.
I'm not even sure about that. It's been a while.
Okay. I'm going to tell you this. The Baltimore, Washington district is 59 people ahead of us. 59. There's no way on the planet that we get beat by by Baltimore, Washington. There's no way. And we've got 6 months to cover that. They're trending this way because they had a big pop at the beginning of the year, and we're going to be trending this way. So we're going to make sure that District 7670 is the jewel of the zone. And I don't think anybody on here doesn't think that we can do it. So we're going to help any way we can. Ethan.
Hey, yeah, one thing I wanted to reiterate is we did some strategic goal setting going into my year, and we really sat down, and I've had a lot of experience with goal setting and coaching, and I said, you know, the one mistake people make in leadership is they set too many goals. There's too many goals, and I said, yeah, I always live by 3 important, 1 most important. So that's exactly what we went into this Rotary year doing. What are our 3 most important goals? Growing membership, growing our service hours, and growing our funds, our money, our giving and donating. And I said, if we don't get but one done, it's got to be membership, because membership is the foundation for all of those. If you grow your membership, you're going to grow your giving, you're going to grow your service hours. Membership's where it's at, and we know that has been a number 1 goal. And I went to Pets and heard Mark Maloney speak, and we know that if we grow our membership, the other 2 will take care of themselves anyway. Our service hours we're tracking over 3,000 service hours this year. We had 500 last year, and it's because we've grown membership. So we've said, if I don't get anything else done this year, we've got to grow membership, and that's exactly what we went into this year doing. Because I truly believe that going forward, I mean, those ought to be our 3 most important goals, even beyond this year, is continue to grow membership, service hours, and growing our financial giving.
Okay, Ethan, I appreciate you. I'm getting the hook.
No. This is Philip.
I tease it.
Remember the Gong Show?
Yes, Dong.
No, the Gong Show, they would hook the guy.
That's right.
You've done a great job, so have your co-presenters, so that we can end on time for people that have other things to do. Yep. Can we give them maybe Karen's email address? So besides Brevard, we hear from the other clubs that are interested. And then 2, I need to remind them that the recording of this show will be on the district website in the next several days, which will let you go back and re-listen to some of it that you might have missed. And I want to thank Patrick for being willing to come on here and open himself up to kind of questions, and he's offering to help us. So if you want the full Patrick Logano and Buddy's help, then let Karen know, and the first 5 clubs, one of which sounds like is Brevard, 4 more will get some help.
Guys, I've got a bunch of threads on the chat that, because I've been speaking, I haven't read, but I will get back to you on that. David wanted to say something. And I just want to say goodbye afterwards.
I just wanted to, can everybody hear me all right?
Yep.
I just wanted to tell everybody, I want to remind you, President Ethan and let's see, other President Susan, when we were at Pets a year ago, I told you the leash is off. You can run around in the yard. You can have fun. You can play. You know, people were asking, how many members do we need to get, DG David? How many, what's our number? Do we need 5? Do we need 7%? Do we need 10? And I said, there is no number. Just grow. Just grow. Find a way to grow. This is a great way to grow. I really appreciate Patrick and the whole team here being here to do this today. And I thank District Membership Chair Philip for his leadership. They mean it. They'll help you. So reach out to them.
Yeah, we're going to help. Now, listen, anybody that wants any help, like I said, I offer them 5, and I'm not even going to include Peter because Peter's going to be our special project. We're going to help him, okay, no matter what. So it's 6. The first 5 clubs that want help, email Impact. I'll set up a Zoom meeting and we'll get on and we'll start talking. But we can do this before the end of the year. It is incredible. We can get it done. Okay. I promise you we can do it. All right. I want to thank Stephen Starnes, who took time out of his day today. And I only got to ask him one question, and Ethan and Karen and everybody else that's been on the meeting. But please, guys, you know I'm passionate about it, and we've got the plan for you to do it. We can get it done. I promise. Okay.
Still need the email.
Oh, Karen put it up on the screen. It is impact, IMPACT .rotarylenore@gmail.com.
Lenore is LENOIR.
Yep. At gmail.com.
One R.
Yep. She'll get that information to me and we'll get right back to you. But remember, you got to get it quick because we've got, like I said, I got time to handle the first 5 because we're going to walk you through it. We're going to help you fill out the paperwork. We're going to help you onboard on DACDB. Don't worry about it. How do we get people in DAC? Don't worry about it. We'll help you. We've got it. Okay.
Thank you,
Patrick.
Pat.
Everybody.
I gotta go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you.